A homeless man arrested in New South Wales over the murder of a Chinese woman in King's Domain will spend tonight in a Melbourne cell. Scott Alan Miller appeared in a Bateman's Bay court where Victorian homicide detectives were granted the extradition order. Yasmin Paton has more.
After a 3-day hunt spanning 2 states, Scott Alan Miller fronted the court in handcuffs. Victorian police travelled there to apply for his extradition to Melbourne, which was granted by the magistrate. From there, it was a road trip to Canberra Airport and a flight to Melbourne. Miller is the prime suspect for the rape and murder of a 32-year-old Chinese woman at King's Domain early Saturday morning. Evidence left at the scene was linked to the 42-year-old homeless man who was arrested late yesterday at Eden on the New South Wales south coast. At the scene of the killing today, there were more flowers and cards, not far from where the victim's naked body was found. One reading, "I will think of you every day as I pass this spot." Another, "Our city grieves for you." Staff from the gardens left a white rose in her memory.
I cannot comprehend how anyone can do it. To women, to all of us. Why should you be attacked?
We need to make sure that women walking around the streets at night feel safe. Melbourne is a safe city and women should be able to do that.
Police were doing their bit to reassure people, patrolling the area on foot, but many are still unsettled by the random nature of the attack.
It's just frightening, and I've got daughters who live in St Kilda and I'm just like, don't go out in the dark.
It's scary.
The man who was captured on security camera walking with Miller in the hours before the murder has spoken with police and is not a suspect in the case.
Well, Yasmin is at the Melbourne Remand Centre. Yasmin, has Miller touched down yet?
Good evening, Stephen. Miller touched down at Melbourne Airport a short time ago after flying in from Canberra. It's believed he fled Melbourne after Saturday's attack, but police tracked him down and he's now been charged with 1 count of murder. He may face more charges once he's been interviewed by detectives here in Victoria. That interview is currently taking place at the St Kilda Road Police Complex and should take a couple of hours. Miller will remain locked up tonight here at the Custody Centre underneath the Melbourne Magistrates Court. He's due to arrive here between 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock tonight. He'll then front court tomorrow. So, Stephen, more details in this awful case will come to light when that hearing takes place.
Yasmin Paton reporting. To breaking news, and the homeless man extradited from New South Wales over the murder of a Chinese woman in King's Domain has arrived at St Kilda Road Police Station. Yasmin Paton joins us again. Yasmin, what can you tell us?
Good evening, Stephen. Well, vision has just come in of Miller being driven into the St Kilda Road Police Complex to be interviewed by Victorian detectives after being extradited from New South Wales today. If he talks to police, that interview could take a couple of hours and it could result in more charges being laid against Miller in addition to the 1 count of murder he's already facing. Details are also starting to emerge about the victim of this awful killing at King's Domain on Saturday morning. It's believed the 32-year-old woman is Renee Lau. She's from Hong Kong and has lived in Melbourne since 2012, working as a pastry chef at an upmarket dessert business in Melbourne's Inner East. Now, Miller will be brought here to the Custody Centre underneath the Melbourne Magistrates Court by 10 p.m. tonight. He'll remain locked up here before his court hearing tomorrow, Stephen.
Yasmin Paton in the city. It's claimed a homeless man charged over the King's Domain killing had been diagnosed with drug-induced psychosis. Scott Alan Miller faced the magistrate's court on 1 count of murder and 2 of rape. As Yasmin Paton reports, friends of his alleged victim were in court. The Homicide Squad detectives who hunted down Scott Alan Miller left court, the accused murderer and rapist now securely behind bars. The 42-year-old homeless man appeared at the Melbourne Magistrates Court for a brief filing hearing. He's charged with 1 count of murder and 2 counts of rape after 32-year-old Renee Lau was found naked in King's Domain on Saturday morning, attacked while walking to work. Miller wore a green tracksuit with his hair pulled back in a bun. He was flanked by 2 security guards and occasionally yawned while in the dock.
Miller was extradited from New South Wales yesterday and interviewed at the St Kilda Road Police Complex last night. Forensic samples were taken. It's alleged he fled Melbourne after the murder but was spotted by off-duty police officers sleeping rough in Eden on the New South Wales coast on Monday afternoon and arrested. The court heard today it was Miller's first time in custody, that he'd previously suffered a drug-induced psychosis and has a mouth infection. The magistrate was told he needs a physical and mental assessment by doctors while in custody. Friends of Renee attended court, sitting just metres from the man who's accused of taking her young life. Colleagues from the South Yarra chocolate shop where she worked released a statement saying she'll be terribly missed, describing her as a wonderful person and a beautiful friend. Flowers from customers and friends were delivered to the shop today.
Well, Yasmin joins us from King's Domain. Yasmin, police have been in contact with victim Renee Lau's family in Hong Kong.
Good evening, Stephen. Yes, police have been in touch with her family. When they first called Hong Kong, they spoke with one of her siblings, who then had to break the devastating news to her parents. They're coming to Melbourne to formally identify Renee's body, to learn more about the 2 years she spent here in Melbourne and also her tragic final moments. It's believed her siblings will also fly out here, so of course that's going to be a very difficult trip for that family to take. One small comfort, Stephen, is the fact that Renee's accused killer is now behind bars. Scott Alan Miller will return to court in late October for a committal mention.
Yasmin PATON in King's Domain.